Hey guys, Josh here, and today we are back on Kickstarter. I love to take a look at whenever there's a new upcoming farming game. Just take a look at the campaign and give you guys my thoughts on the game, the campaign, and if I would back the game or not. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Ranchers. This campaign launched a few days ago. It's already extremely successful. They got 86,000 euros out of their original goal of 50,000. They're doing very well, over 1,200 backers. They still have 23 days to go, so good job to them. But I've been talking a lot about this game in the last few months. And by the way, this campaign was originally supposed to launch in the first quarter of the year, and then it got pushed back to the second quarter, and then it got pushed back to the third quarter, so it finally launched in July. So the wait was long, but the campaign is finally here. So yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it today and give you my thoughts on this game so far. As always with Kickstarter projects, I recommend you do your own research, but we're gonna take a look at this page together. And first of all, I'm not gonna take a look at the trailer because it is the same trailer that was revealed about 6 months ago. I actually did a video covering the trailer and my general thoughts on this game. So I'll link my original video if you guys want to take a look at it. So we're just going to skip the trailer and go to the meat of the campaign. So it starts with the stretch goals. So as you can see, the base game is funded. And then the more money they get, the more stretch goals they will be able to add. The game will have more content. So now we've got at least 80k. So we'll have birds and insects added to the game. And then if they manage to get more money, they will add cooking mechanic. They will expand on the cooking mechanics. They will add the option to create your own wines and beers with your fruits. They will add pets. They will add the ability to make cheeses and mayonnaise. And they will add pet breeding. And at 1 million, they will add the farmer's market. So at first glance, it's all good. Most games on Kickstarters have stretch goals. However, I hate to be this negative, skeptical person, but I'm gonna have to start with something kind of negative. And the first thing is that most of these mechanics seem to be kind of basic or pretty much expected from a farming game, like being able to make mayonnaise, cheese, wine, and beer, and having some pets. I'm also wondering if it's necessary, for example, to have an extra 100,000 euros to add the cheese and mayonnaise if at 200,000 euros, they're able to have wine and beer. I would imagine all of these things to go together because the game mechanics are probably very similar. So I don't know why there's a 200,000 euros difference between these two stretch goals. Also, there are a few things like the pets. They were actually shown in the first trailer of the game. You can see the player hunting with some dogs that are helping them. So if the pets are shown in the base trailer of the game, I'm wondering why all of a sudden it is a stretch goal, because it seemed to be advertised in the base game. And this is also the case for the farmer's market. This is something that they promoted when they did the original marketing for the game. It was one of the main features of the game, that you were going to be able to sell your resources and everything to other players. It was a really big feature and it seemed to be kind of at the core of the game. But currently it is a stretch goal and it requires 1 million euros. So that's a really, really big stretch goals. I'm sure there's going to be other stretch goals because you can see other little icons here. But yeah, it requires a lot. So I'm just a bit surprised that they showed something in the original marketing and the original trailer, and now these things are being pushed back as stretch goals. I don't necessarily like to see that, but I know that developing a game requires a lot of money. But I just wish they were maybe a little bit more upfront as to what will be included in the base game and what is a stretch goal. But anyway, now let's keep going a little bit. So the Ranchers, it's a farming game. You'll get to farm, ranch, build, and explore. It's an open world country life sim game for 1 to 4 players. So there will be multiplayer in this game. We're gonna go quickly through the features. So first, let's meet the different villagers. So they actually introduced these villagers in the dev blogs that they posted over the last few months. So you'll be able to make friends with them, to romance them, and even start your own family. So they revealed 8 characters. So there's Pablo, Alicia, Eva, Nina, Ivan, Bruno, Chris, and Hazel. Let me know which one of these characters you're the most interested in. For me so far, none of them really interest me, but there will be many more characters in the final version of the game. So we're gonna have to stay tuned to meet all of them. So yeah, as with any good farming sim, we can expect romance in this game and of course ranching. So you'll be able to create your ranch from scratch, build houses, raise animals, grow crops, and all of that fun stuff. There will be 9 available terrain plots near your original one. So if I understand this correctly, you'll be able to have a total of up to 10 terrain plots, which sounds very big. So you'll be able to really customize and decorate, build your farm as you'd like. And space is probably not going to be an issue. You'll have plenty of space to do anything you'd like. One of these things will be raising animals. And that is something I like to see. This picture right here. It looks like there's going to be at least 12 different animals. So not only will we have cow, chicken, sheep, horse, pig, but also exotic animals like peafowl, turkey, ostrich, duck, goat, and llama. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all of these animals will be different from each other. Maybe they will require different food and will have different needs. And I'm sure all of them will give you different products that will be used for cooking and crafting. But yeah, they're not saying too much about the animals for now, but I just like to see the variety. And also they say that the animals can be bred, but you'll need a coop or barn to house them, and you'll need to feed them. Then you'll get resources to make money, expand your ranch, or cook. So that's the usual. And one thing I'm going to bring up right now that I find a little bit funny or a little bit odd is that they say that the animals can be bred. So the way they say it, it seems like that's going to be a base feature of the game. No matter how much money they raise, animals will be able to be bred. However, for some reason, if you want to breed pets, these will need 500,000 euros. And I'm really wondering where that number comes from and if that stretch goal is really necessary. Because if they build the breeding mechanic into the base game, so the base game only requires 50k. So I'm wondering just how different will the breeding mechanics be from the animals to the pets, that it requires an extra 200,000 euros to code and develop and put into the game. It just seems like a huge difference for a mechanic that's already in the base game. So just makes me question and wonder a little bit about the nature of the stretch goals. But yeah, so you can breed the animals, but you cannot breed the pets unless you give them a lot of money. But yeah, let's go to the crops. So there's going to be lots of different crops in this game that are going to be used for making money and also cooking. They mentioned that the crops are seasonal, which means they only grow in one specific season. But some crops can be planted in multiple seasons and be harvested several times. You can also build a greenhouse and make them grow out of their season, but that will come with a cost. So nothing really special here. That's what to be expected from most farming games. I would love to see a little bit more innovation and something new with the farming. I don't have anything bad to say about that, but I also don't have anything good to say about that. Then we've got the fruit trees. So the fruit trees are a little bit different because they are bi-seasonal. So they're able to grow 2 seasons out of the year, whereas in most farming games, they will usually grow in just one season. So that's one different things. And they're showing 6 different trees here. I don't know if there's going to be more in the final version of the game. Maybe that will change. But yeah, we got 6 trees here. So that's good to see. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the farming. And then we go to the fishing. So you'll be able to fish in this game. They don't show the fishing minigame or anything, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. But they show us a little bit of the variety that we're going to have with the fish. So there's going to be shark, goldfish, pufferfish, tilapia, swordfish. So lots of variety here. And some fish will have to be caught in the sea, some of them in the rivers. So you'll find them in different times of day, different areas and weather conditions. And also caught fish can be donated to the Ranchers Museum, sold to the well-paying villagers, or cooked into one of your delicious recipes. So there will be a museum in this game, kind of like in Animal Crossing. This is a feature we see in more and more life sim or farming games. So that's something I like to see. Next, we've got hunting. So they say that fishing is relaxing, but if you're looking for something more thrilling, you can go horseback hunting in the wilds. And in this little footage right here, you can see the dogs actually helping the player hunt. So makes you believe this is going to be in the base game, but they actually need 300,000 euros in order to add these dogs. So I feel like this is a bit misleading, or if it's not misleading, maybe just a lack of transparency, because it makes you believe this is going to be in the game no matter how much money they raise, but that is not the case. Then we've got vehicles, and that's one feature I'm really excited about for this game, because that's not something we see in a lot of farming games. So vehicles can be bought from one of the car dealers in the rancher's country. So there's going to be multiple car dealers. They can be used to make deliveries, transport your animals, explore faraway places, or simply to cruise around with your friends and loved one. And each vehicle is going to have different stats like speed, handling, acceleration, passenger capacity, storage capacity, and energy consumption. So we get a little glimpse of the different cars. So there's going to be trucks, motorcycles, cars, and bicycles. I know that they mentioned in their previous dev blog how the bicycles will use the player's energy. So you're going to need to make sure you have energy before you can ride your bike. There's also going to be a system that allows you to rent a bicycle from little stations like we see in most big cities where you can rent bicycles. I'm assuming that's going to be a great way to transport your character early in game, and the cars will require gas. I just hope it's not going to be too tedious to like carry your animals from one place to the other, and making sure you always have enough gas, and just hoping you don't get stranded in the middle of nowhere with no gas. And it's going to be a big open world, so if you're stuck somewhere and you have to walk for hours and hours to go back home, so I'm just hoping it doesn't get too tedious or annoying. But yes, we will have different types of vehicles, so I'm excited for that. I hope the driving is fun. And yeah, we don't have that in a lot of farming games, so that is good to see. And then we get to one of their big features, which is their systemic engine. So the Ranchers is built on top of our in-house systemic engine layer, which is a technical term to say that all props in the game are interactable and react to weather conditions, players and NPCs interactions, and to the classical elements such as water, fire, air, etc. So that's a pretty big claim. That's very, very ambitious. The systemic engine brings a huge level of realism, leading to a unique and totally autonomous world simulation by giving our players an unseen level of freedom to experiment with the Rancher's open world the way they want. So yeah, really big claims here, really, really ambitious. Most of this game is very ambitious, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they can pull it off. Basically, you'll be able to interact with everything in a realistic way. So one example, the first example they give of this is how you can cut a tree with an axe as normal, or with a car or guns. So I'm not too sure about the huge level of realism. I've never seen anyone in real life cut a tree with a car or with guns. Maybe some people have tried it. Please let me know. But yeah, I'm not too sure about the realism. I'm not too sure it's really gonna bring something new to the gameplay or something exciting. But yeah, it is one of their big features. I'm looking forward to seeing more of how they will actually implement this into the game and if we can do interesting things. The next example is maybe a little bit more interesting, and they show how you can make charcoal by burning trees. So if you just cut the trees, you'll get wood, but if you burn it, you'll get charcoal, which can be used for the furnace and things like that. Yeah, I have to say, it seems like a good idea at first to have a systemic engine. There are games that do kind of work like that. A lot of open world game. One pretty popular example would be The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where different elements will have effects on other elements, and you can really interact with the environment in order to solve puzzles and fight enemies and things like that. So for certain games, it does work really well, but it is a big, big commitment. I'm not sure about cutting a tree with a car. But yeah, so that's one of the features of this game. But there are more features. So one of them is the pets. So once again, I'm wondering why they showed this here, if it's actually a stretch goal. Once again, it does feel a bit misleading because they may not include this. I don't know. There's going to be also festivals, dynamic weather and time, romance, cooking, skills tree, quests, and contract. So once again, all of this pretty basic for a farming game. That's pretty much what we expect. There's also going to be customization. So you'll be able to create and customize your character, create and customize your dream house. It looks like we're really going to be able to build our house from scratch and really customize it however we'd like. And remember that they said that every item in the environment will be interactable. So I'm looking forward to seeing how useful the house will be, because it kind of looks like The Sims when we look at the screenshots here, but I don't think your character will have as many needs as in The Sims. So I'm wondering what's going to be the point of the TV and the sofa and all of this furniture. Is it going to be purely decorative? Because it looks like the player here built a pretty big house. So I'm just wondering if the house will actually be useful. Because in most farming games, usually your house is pretty small and there's not that much you can do. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing like the point of having a really big house. Is it just decorative, or is there going to be some kind of function to integrate the house building with the other aspects of the game? And next, there's going to be an open world. So they say that on foot, horseback, scooter, pickup, or yacht, explore a gigantic open world where new adventures are to be found around every corner. So once again, pretty big claim, pretty bold, pretty ambitious. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to go, especially with a farming game. So usually in farming games, you'll have to spend a lot of time on your farm, a lot of time on your house. So with open world, I'm always a little bit worried that you may have to go very far from your farm and like you'll have to come back home every day. So with the big world that they're planning to do, I don't know how that's going to go. I don't want to drive 15 minutes every time I want to go to the store or every time I want to go to the mine and then come back to my house. So just looking forward to seeing how they will implement the gigantic open world. That kind of scares me a little bit. I would rather have a smaller world, but I'm not against open world. I would love to see more open world farming games. There is another open world farming game currently campaigning on Kickstarter called God's Fabled Soil Frontier. This one will also be open world, so that's also something I'm a little bit worried about. But if they do it well, it could work. If there's a way to maybe teleport back home or something, I don't know. But yeah, that just scares me a little bit. And then there's going to be dangerous territories. So this game's going to have mines, dungeons, wild islands, and shipwrecks to recover ultra rare minerals and gems. But beware, monsters are waiting for you. Rest assured, however, monsters will never be in your ranch or near crowded places. It's really up to you to go fight when you feel ready for it. So there is going to be guns in this game. There's going to be sword fighting, dungeons, islands, all of that stuff. So once again, very, very ambitious. Looking forward to seeing how they will pull that off. It looks like a completely different game here. If you showed me this footage right here and then you showed me like this footage right here, I would never have guessed those would be the same game, but it is the same game. Yeah, I mean, there are lots of farming games with combat, like we have Ruin Factory, the most popular example. Even Stardew Valley has some combat. But here, I just feel like kind of a mismatch in terms of like aesthetic. And I don't know, it looks very realistic when you look at the farming and the city and everything. And then suddenly you're in a fantasy setting in a dungeon with dragons and big creatures. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they will implement this in terms of setting and aesthetic and like the lore of the game and the story and how they will combine that together so it's not like a huge incoherent mess. So yeah, looking forward to that. And there will also be co-op in this game. So you'll be able to play with up to 3 other friends. So 4 players together. They say that your friends can help you develop your ranch, fulfill your goals, or explore the vast open world of the Ranchers together. The Ranchers features seamless multiplayer, which means your friends will be able to join you in your ranch at any time by using their in-game train station without any game interruption, loading screen, or even a lobby, just like in real life. Actually, in real life, I don't think my friends can join me that easily. But yeah, that's a good thing to see. It seems like there's going to be a pretty big emphasis on multiplayer. They will also be adding in-game voice chat. That's something they talked about in one of their dev blogs. So yeah, that's kind of ambitious for an independent studio, a small studio, to add this multiplayer with voice chat and everything. No loading screen, no lobby. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that will go. I feel like I'm saying the same thing for everything. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how that will go. Next, we've got the soundtrack. So I will actually put the link to the Kickstarter campaign in the video description. So feel free to check it out if you'd like to listen to some of that music. And next, let's take a look at some of the rewards. So for 30 euros, you will get just the game. Get the game when it launches on early access. You will also get an exclusive premium clothing set for your character. Also, I believe the full game, when it releases on Steam, will be 39 euros. So if you get it through Kickstarter now, you actually do get a discount. I find it maybe a little bit pricey for an indie game. If you want to get the alpha, it's 45 euros. And then you got other things. So it goes up all the way to 3,500 euros, which allows you to design a character. It says, become a tourist NPC or help us design one. Tourists will be featured in the in-game festivals and on select days will be seen visiting the town center. Work alongside our team to customize everything. And I feel like you don't get a lot actually for 3,500. You don't even get the design vehicle or design pet, but you do get all of the previous rewards. But yeah, it's up to you. If you have that kind of money to back this game, you can do that. And just to give you a rough idea, so 30 euros is going to be 30 US dollars, 45 euros, about 45 US dollars. If you're in Canada, the 30 euros will be about $40 and 45 euros will be about $59. I'm not going to go through all of the other currencies, but just to give you a rough idea of how much this game is gonna cost. But yeah, it kind of leans on the pricier side for a Kickstarter project, but yeah, that's what it is. And then if you scroll down, you can see some add-ons. So you can add another soundtrack or another game key, or you can get a scooter for 20 euros, an exclusive pet for 20 euros. And I'm wondering what happens if you back, for example, 20 euros and you get the exclusive pet, but they don't meet the stretch goals for the pets. What's going to happen with your pet in that case? Just a little question that's crossing my mind, but I don't know. And next they talk about the platforms. So our current plan is to release the Ranchers on Windows platform first. We'll be coming later to other platforms as well. Usually most Kickstarter campaigns will show in the stretch goals the different platforms, but here they don't really specify it. So we don't really know what are the requirements for them to go to other platforms. By reading this, it leads me to think that just with their base funding, they will be coming later to other platforms as well. So maybe on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. And I know that porting games to other consoles is a very difficult, a very expensive thing to do. So it's kind of interesting that it's not in a stretch goal. It seems to be like a basic thing that they're going to do. So they are pretty optimistic about that. And they also say that the game will be optimized day one for the Steam Deck. And also on day one, when the game fully releases, we'll have 8 languages supported. So English, French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. So these will not be available during alpha, beta, and early access periods, but they will be a little bit later. So once again, pretty ambitious for a small team to have all of these languages. And then if they get extra backers, so from 2,000 backers to 5,000 backers, they will be adding other languages. So I assume they will probably ask the community which languages they would like to see in the game or something like that. But yeah, at first they will be supporting with 1P 8 languages. So yeah, that's good to see. I would love to see that game in multiple languages so more people can enjoy it. And now let's read who we are. So my name is Ethan. So right away, it is just a little bit odd how it says who we are. And then the first sentence, the first word is actually my. So there's a little bit of a contrast here. But anyway, let's keep going. My name is Ethan. I'm a father to a 4-year-old little girl, a geek, and an old-time farm sim lover. Like many of you, I grew up with games like Harvest Moon, The Sims, and GTA. And I played the hell out of games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, even until the point where I started dreaming about myself playing these games. My love for these games gave me an idea that I couldn't shake. Is it possible to combine the mechanics and fun I enjoy the most? A modern game that pushes all the boundaries of the classics. And you guessed right, this idea became what we know as The Ranchers. I started working on The Ranchers as a side project to my day job back in 2016, but it quickly became more than a side job. A few years went by and suddenly I had a baby, quit my job, sold everything my wife and I owned, bought a farm, and got a new job. Full-time focus on creating The Ranchers. It has been a long journey so far, and in order to make the very best version of The Ranchers, that is now even backed by a publisher that believes in the game, I've gathered a great multicultural team of some of the most talented people. Now, we are Redpilz Studio, an independent game development studio based in Paris, France. So first of all, I feel like there are a few gaps. So he mentions how he just sold everything, quit his job, bought a farm, and then right after, they have a studio called Redpilz Studio based in Paris. So I don't know if he sold his farm to move to Paris. I don't know how this studio got founded. I don't know how he managed to find all of these people. So they have 14 full-time people working on this game. And we don't know anything about any of these other people. I remember seeing Yannick on the Discord. So I know Yannick, I know Ethan, but all of these other people, we don't know where they're coming from. There's nothing about them, how they met. He just quit everything, bought a farm, had a baby, and started a studio in Paris, and 14 people, and everything is going well. And also, one other little thing, doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's just me being like too skeptical. But here you can see the name of Ethan. It's Ethan Amin. And if you look at the creator of the Kickstarter campaign, the name of the creator is Amin Berada. So Amin is a first name and Berada is a last name. If you look at it like this, it looks like two different people. Like there's Ethan and then there's Amin Berada. And here it says Ethan Amin. So I don't know if he has maybe two first name, maybe Amin is the middle name, maybe Ethan is a nickname. I just don't know who's Ethan now, who's Amin Berada, who's Ethan Amin. I'm just a bit confused with that. And one other thing that is not mentioned, which I found a bit odd, is that they say here that The Ranchers is backed by a publisher that believes in the game. So usually that's a great thing. If a studio manages to find a publisher for their game, usually they would be very excited about it and very proud and would say our publisher is this one, they've published this game, they've published that game. But they just say they're backed up by a publisher and they don't mention the name of the publisher, which I find to be a little bit odd. I find that most people would be proud, would be happy to mention the name of the publisher. So I had to do a little bit of research, and it turns out that their publisher is called Trophy Games, and they seem to focus mainly on mobile games. Let me know if you've played any of these games. There's a Warhammer game, there's Pro 11. So most of these are actually, I think, like sports team management mobile game. So let me know if you've played any of these games, if you know something about them. There's really not that much information on the website, and I'm just wondering how they will be able to help the ranchers, because it seems like they never really worked on big PC or console games. It's mostly all mobile games. So I'm just hoping they don't kind of force the studio to add microtransactions or features you would usually expect in mobile games and make the game feel kind of mobile gamey. Maybe that's not going to be the case, but yeah, so these are the games that they've published so far. Nothing really exceptional, but maybe these games are really good. I just don't know about them. But yeah, they're all very different. They're all like sports management games. So The Ranchers is just very different from all of these. But just the fact that they don't mention the name of their publisher on the Kickstarter campaign, just, I don't know, it's a little bit of a red flag for me. Maybe it's not for you. And anything I say in this video, just take everything with a grain of salt, form your own opinions, do your own research. But just for me as a player who's looking at this campaign and trying to form an opinion on whether or not I should trust this developer and give them money. That's just what I'm thinking. So yeah, they've got a team of 14 people and they are hiring more. Here we can see the timeline. So in 2016, the development started. In Q1 2022, the pre-alpha started, but nobody played the game, so I don't know why they add this here. In July 2022, the Kickstarter started. And in Q4 2022, the alpha access will start. And that's another thing I would like to mention is that originally, so the Kickstarter was supposed to start in Q1, and then it was supposed to start in Q2, and now it started in July, which is Q3. So they pushed back the Kickstarter many times, and they also said many times on Discord, I will put the screenshots, but they said that the alpha access would start right when the Kickstarter will end. But now there's basically a few months gap between the end of the Kickstarter campaign and the beginning of the alpha access. So I'm not sure why they're pushing back the alpha access so much. I know that delays are very common in game development, and I don't blame anyone for just taking more time to make their game good and just work on their project. And I think that's totally fine. But it's just that so far, we've known about this game for 6 months, and they've had a really bad track record with their dates. just pushing back the Kickstarter over and over and saying, okay, it's coming very soon, and it's just not coming. They also did the same thing with the dev blogs. They said that they would post a dev blog every month, and we got one dev blog at first. And then for the second dev blog, I remember one time they said, oh, it's coming very soon, I promise. And it came in like a few months later. And we're still missing tons of dev blog. It's definitely not every month. And if it was a solo project, I would be fine with it. And I would say it's okay. Like, they have a lot of things to deal with. But if they're a team of 14 people, just this lack of consistency and just the fact that you can't really trust any dates, they say, just makes me a little bit skeptical of this project. But yeah, we'll keep going. So in Q2 2023, we'll have the beta, early access in Q3, and final release in Q4. So once again, I think these dates will probably change, and I wouldn't rely on these dates too much. But yeah, we can maybe expect a final release at the end of next year. Now, let's read a little bit about the risks and challenges. So we've been working on the Rangers for close to 6 years now, and we are truly proud of what we've accomplished so far. The game has already a very solid foundation, the systemic engine, multiplayer, and all of the core mechanics already implemented. So if all of this is already implemented, I'm wondering why the alpha keeps getting pushed back. It seems like they're pretty far ahead in their development. So yeah, just makes me question that one more time. The two biggest challenges we see ahead for the project are developing alongside community feedback, and provided we reach the stretch goals, implementing the live ops component, season content updates, companion app into the game. So once again, this makes it look kind of a mobile gamey with season content update. I don't know if they're planning some kind of season pass. I think they said there wouldn't be any microtransactions, but we'll have to keep an eye for that. And they say that depending on the amount and type of feedback we receive, the dates for milestones on the development timeline may shift. Should dates shift, we'll openly communicate this to the community. So that's pretty much it for the campaign. Now let's take a quick look at the FAQ. So there are just a few questions I would like to take a look at. So this one says, when will I get my alpha key? We will start sending the alpha keys, Steam keys, to backers around October this year. Maybe before, we will see. So once again, that's very uncertain. Maybe we'll get it before, but probably not. So yeah, in October, we can expect the alpha, which was supposed to come out a lot earlier than that. Another question I'd like to take a look at is, will there still be updates after the full release of the game, Q4 2023? They say, we plan to have big free updates each 3 months or so after the game gets released to continue adding new contents, animals, vehicles, quests. So once again, I feel like that sounds very ambitious, very bold, and since they have not been very reliable with timelines and promises so far, I don't know if that's really something we can count on and expect big free updates every 3 months. That just seems like very big, even for a team of 14 people. That's what I'm thinking with this game so far. It looks like a very fun game. It has good ideas, but I just feel like it's too much. Too many things, just very, very ambitious. So I'm just a little bit worried that they may not be able to pull everything off and really accomplish everything that they're promising. And it's not necessarily that I think they have bad intentions or anything like that. I'm sure they're really focused on creating this game and they believe in their projects and their visions. But there are a few things I find incoherent, like the stretch goals. I feel like they don't all make sense, and I wish we would know a little bit more about how the studio got founded and who are the people beside Ethan who are actually working on this game, and why are they not displaying publicly the name of their publishers. And just little things like that makes me think, yes, it might be a good game, but is it a game that I would put my own money in? I am not sure as of now. Maybe my mind will change. I would love for someone to change my mind, and I will try this game when it comes out so I can check it out and show it to you guys, and maybe we'll look back on my video in 6 months and be like, oh my gosh, I was wrong and this game is the best game in the world. Maybe it will oversell Stardew Valley. It's going to be a great farming game. Who knows? I'd love for this game to be successful, but I am a little bit skeptical because of everything that I pointed out in this video. So yeah, make your own decisions and let me know what you think of this game. Are you going to back it on Kickstarter? Are you a little bit skeptical like me? Are you somewhere in between? yeah, please let me know. Leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more The Ranchers content. I will definitely keep an eye on this game whenever something happens with The Ranchers. But yeah, definitely their campaign is very successful. Like, they're already funded, so no matter what happens, they are funded. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.